Hello. Sometimes pens are made for a specific purpose, and they are to be commended when they do that one specific purpose really well. And that's what we have here today. This pen is a Kaweco AL Sport pen. This is a pocket pen. It is designed to be carried in the pocket, and that's exactly what I use it for. So as you can probably see, it's got quite a bit of scuffs and scratches on it, etc., because it sits in my pocket with my keys, etc. So I carry this in my pocket when I'm not carrying any sort of bag or knapsack or anything with me, when I have other means to carry pens around. If I'm just walking around and I want to carry a pen with me, I just throw this in my pocket, and it's meant for jotting quick notes, writing down a phone number, writing an address, etc. So you're not going to write the great American novel with a pen like this, but it serves its purpose and it serves it well, which we'll get to. It's a pocket pen. It's made out of aluminum. It's not ultra light. It weighs 24 grams with the clip. The clip is optional and is detachable. And while we're on the subject, Kaweco kind of sells this sort of on an a la carte basis. The converter is extra, the clip is extra, and the pen itself is not particularly cheap. It's about $65 just for the pen. They have several different model clips ranging between $8, $10, $12 sometimes for the different clips, and they get a few dollars extra for the converter as well. So you could be into the $80, $85 range easily on this pen once you fully equip it. Also, if you notice, like I said, it's got some scuffs and scratches on it. If you want to go fully out with the scuffs and scratches, for another $15, they'll sell you the exact same pen in what they call the stonewashed model, which is where they've put it through some abuse and it's already got probably a decade's worth of wear on it. I prefer to have mine wear naturally, so I did not go for that. The pen is nice. It's black anodized aluminum. It has a metal disc insert with the Kaweco logo on it. This particular clip is chrome with the Kaweco logo on it, where the facets on the clip obviously match the facets on the pen, and it's sort of plain on the other end. As it's a pocket pen, as you can imagine, it's quite short. Here it is compared to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan. So this is clearly a pen meant to be kept in the pocket. You don't really need this clip, by the way. Like I said, I have it. I clip it sometimes to a small notebook, which I'll keep in my pocket. I don't really clip it to shirts or pants or anything like that. So I could probably actually do without this clip as well. So you might want to think twice before you invest the money on the clip, depending upon how you're actually gonna use this pen. It unscrews. You've got about 2 full turns to unscrew it, and it posts fairly deeply, and it obviously has to post because, again, it's a pocket pen. It would be it's unposted. I feel it's just a little too short, but posted, it's actually quite reasonable in length. As a matter of fact, let's compare it to a Pilot Metropolitan posted. So as you can see, it is shorter than the Pilot Metropolitan posted, but not egregiously so. I mean, again, you're not going to be writing a novel with this. This is for jotting down a phone number or two here and there. It's got a small little nib. This is a fine nib. It's a steel nib. It's got some nice little scroll work on it, and the Kaweco logo as well. One nice thing about this, as I said, because it's a pocket pen, is the notion of reliability. You want to be able to jot down a phone number real quick. You want to pull the pen out of your pocket, unscrew it, and have it right first time every time. So as you can see, when I unscrewed it, it seals very nicely, keeps the nib nice and moist, etc. And that's essential because you don't want, when you want to write something and you're writing it quickly, that's really the whole point of a pocket pen. So this pen does its job very well. One thing people don't like about this pen is its very small ink capacity. You cannot put a standard size, standard international cartridge in this pen. You can converter in this pen. You can put a standard short international cartridge in, or you could use this little mini converter that Kaweco sells, which is a push-pull piston converter. It does not hold a lot of ink, but again, it's not meant for doing extensive amounts of writing. For short little spurts of writing, which you're going to use this for, it's a perfectly adequate amount of ink. I've never really had a massive problem running out of ink. I've never really used this for much more than, I think I've only written a paragraph or two at the most at any one shot with this pen, because again, given the particular task that this pen is meant for. It's a little pricey for what it is. Like I said, it's you're getting a steel nib aluminum body pen, and they do kind of nickel and dime you a little bit for the converter and the clip, etc. But I really do like it. It gets the job done, and I in general I really don't have any complaints about this pen at all. I guess the next question for everybody is, how does it write? And we're going to find that out right now. Okay, what we're writing with today is a Kaweco AL Sport, and this is a fine nib, and it is, you know, pretty much a fine nib. They advertise it correctly. It does write very smooth, as I said, and it's really, really reliable. I mean, again, I can't emphasize enough the need for reliability in a pen like this. You got to quickly pull a pen out of your pocket and write a phone number, write an address down, etc. The last thing you want to do is to have to like scrabble around with your pen to get it started. So the fact that it starts first time every time is extremely important, and this pen does that exactly right and does it well. You don't really get much in the way of flex on this. You could squeeze out a tiny bit of line variation, as you can see. Let's say there versus there, but not much. Again, you're not buying this pen for doing anything too fancy or artistic. You're buying it to just jot things down quickly. But reverse writing is possible. It's a little scratchy, as you can imagine, but that turns it into a extra fine, I would guess, which is important for something like this, because again, you may have an occasion where you have to jot something down in a margin or something like that really quickly. So this really helps quite a bit. So that's about it for the pen. Like I said, writes well, does the job, does it well. You can't ask for too much more than that. Now let's talk about this ink. This is Diamine 1864 blue black. So this ink is part of Diamine's 1864 collection. It comes in not the normal Diamine bottles, but these wedge-shaped bottles. So presumably if you have the whole collection, it makes a complete circle. And this was to commemorate 150 years of Diamine being in business. So this is sort of one of their commemorative inks. In terms of blue black, some blue blacks lean more towards blue, some lean more towards black. This one absolutely leans more towards black than blue, but it is not just simply a black ink. It definitely has that bluish nature to it. It does remind me of vintage inks. I remember many years ago using an old bottle of Waterman blue black that was probably from the 1940s that used to belong to my grandparents, and this actually reminds me quite a bit of that ink. I suspect the ink that I was using was a mixture of the Waterman blue black and then was probably muddied up from people with various blue inks and black ink pens just simply filling their pen in that same ink bottle and not changing the ink. So what I was probably using was not a stock ink, but just a sort of, if you will, custom commemorative custom mixture of different inks. This just reminds me of what that ink ended up looking like. It was a very black, blue black, but this is definitely a nice color. Again, very conservative color. If you want to write and not draw attention to your writing, if you're writing with your fountain pen in your office and you don't want people saying, "Ooh, what's that cool ink," etc., no one's going to say that about this. But yet it has some interesting character to it, not just simply a blue, not just simply a black, etc. It's a well-behaved ink, does not smear, does not feather, has pretty good dry time. So if you're looking for sort of a good sort of general purpose ink, this is again falls into that category. I like this ink quite a bit. I think that will probably do it for this video. As always, I appreciate any feedback. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you did not, please leave a comment and tell me why. But, in any rate, until next time, bye-bye.